Hi, welcome to Truly Knits. I'm Chelsea. It's been a minute since I've sat down and filmed a video, and I just had too much going on between my two jobs and could not find time to or mental space to record. I'm really happy to be back, and I basically have 6 months of knitting to share with you all. I'm basically going to be showing my finished projects that I've done the first half of this year. I have a few whips going on, and then I'm filming this in the middle of August, so last weekend was Flock Fibre Festival in Seattle, which I went to, and it was lovely. So I'm going to share everything I got from there, which wasn't too much, but you know, it's something. So that's kind of the layout of today's video. I have really missed this and getting to interact with you all, so I'm very excited to share about everything today. And I also have a couple of updates that I'm going to share at the end, including a destash that I'm going to be doing. So if you're interested in that, stick through to the end. So I'm going to get started, and I'll get started with what I'm wearing today, which is my fletching sweater, which was my first colorwork project, color garment. And this one is knit with Mano Still Uruguay alpaca heathers in the color Toast and Zinnia. And I love how this turned out. My colorwork, I was really impressed with myself. So what I kind of learned on this project is that I'm more of a loose colorwork knitter. It turned out, I think like knitting colorwork looser might be better than knitting colorwork tighter because it doesn't bunch the fabric, but maybe you can be too loose, I'm not really sure. But this is a pattern by Jessica McDonald on Ravelry. I will link it below. I think I made the second size maybe, and it just has a really nice shape to it. It's obviously a circular yoke, and I really liked working with this yarn, which kind of surprised me because I tend to have an alpaca sensitivity. It just doesn't feel good on my skin. But this one is a 50-50 blend of alpaca and merino, and it's just, it doesn't bother my skin, which is excellent. It's really squishy. It's a sport weight yarn, but it feels, I don't know, plumper, loftier, more wonderful than that. And I'm very much looking forward to wearing this fall. I think it's just such a pretty combination of colors, and this was such a pleasure to knit. It was pretty quick. The colorwork was addicting, and I also learned it's called my fletching, and I never knew why until my friend, my coworker at the store I work at, Michelle, she told me that fletching was what the feathers on the arrows are called in archery. So that makes a lot more sense. So I highly recommend this pattern if you're new to colorwork, or if you've done colorwork and you just want, you know, a more simple experience. It's 2 colors. It doesn't get more simple than this. It's a really memorable pattern. It's like, I don't know what I was expecting going into this, but I memorized it almost immediately, and it's just really a sweater that I cherish in my wardrobe. So that's something I knit earlier this year. I knit a couple of pairs of socks. So this one is in the colorway Desert Bloom from Explorer Knits and Fibres, and I started these cuffs as a different pair of socks. So this is from Long Dog Yarn. The contrast color is a Lord of the Rings yarn called Gandalf, and I started this to go with some other Lord of the Rings yarn, but ended up not wanting to knit that pattern. I just wanted to do vanilla socks, so that's what I did, and I think these colors were meant to find each other. This blue color is exactly in Desert Bloom, and this is really a favorite pair of socks in my wardrobe now. So another thing that I think I had started last year that I maybe had talked about in a video is the hazel sweater, and this is a pattern by PetiteKnit. It's an all over 3x3 ribbed sweater, turtleneck sweater, and this this one, I think it felt like it was on my needles for a really long time, and I knit it in a superwash yarn. This is Olivia and Oliver Fibres tweed DK in the color Seashore, which I had in my stash for a really long time. I was gonna do something else with it. I was gonna knit this big zip cabled pullover, and then immediately thought, wait, I don't want that in superwash. So I tried to come up with another pattern for it and ended up with the hazel sweater, and it is finished. It is really cute, as you can see. And I think I knit the first size. PetiteKnit's patterns are usually like run a little bit big for me, and I just love these sleeve decreases. They look so cool, and this just kind of looks like a cookies and cream milkshake. Like the ice cream turns a little bit Oreo colored, but it still has the flecks in it. And it's funny talking about all these sweaters because it's been summer, so I haven't seen them in a long time. And I'm also really excited to wear this in the fall. I do need to make a little modification. I knit it a bit too short for my liking. Or no, it's the sleeves. The sleeves are a bit too short. That's right. So I do have some extra yarn, and I just did a regular bind off. So I think I will go back in and add probably an inch to 1.5 inches to both sleeves. This is really pretty. I really like this sweater and how it turned out, and how I think I like how it fits. It's been a minute since I wore it, but as you can see, the body is like, it's good. It's staying in place. The sleeves kind of scrunch up a little bit. I don't know if I'm making sense, but the ribbing kind of scrunches on the sleeves, and it kind of lays more flat on the body. But I don't think it does that when I'm wearing it, you know. But that's the fault of the superwash yarn, which I'm getting more and more out of my superwash yarn phase. I just love more rustic wools and things that aren't, I know how they'll behave better instead of just stretching out and being this way. But all in all, I wish I would have maybe had a non-superwash yarn for this, but I think it turned out so pretty, and it definitely, I'll wear it. Like, it's a really nice sweater, and I'm really proud that I was able to finish it, because again, it kind of felt like it took a minute. Speaking of things that took a minute, I finally finished this terrazzo neck, which is like a scarf that you don't wrap around yourself. It's got a back panel and a front panel and a turtleneck, and you can wear it under a jacket or under a different sweater to keep you extra warm. It's a PetiteKnit pattern. And I knit this with Marley Knits last year. We started it as like a trip project to work on together when she came to visit me. And I hated knitting this so much. And so that's why it took me until this year to finish it. And then imagine, I was doing the neckline, and I knit too much. I hated doing the neckline so much, and I actually knit too farther than I meant to. So I don't know how that happened. But I haven't worn it because the turtleneck is too tall. It looks like I'm wearing a full-on neck brace when I put it on. I'm going to give it another try this season, see if I can make it work. But the yarn that I used is from the Lord of the Rings collection also. It's the color Aragorn, which is this gorgeous dark brown gray black situation, and we paired it with Shibui Knits Silk Cloud in the color Love Grass, I want to say. So it's a DK and a mohair, and I think effectively it got gauge, but it has twisted ribbing everywhere, and I really like the idea of a neck, so I do want to knit a different one. But hopefully I'll be able to figure out a way to wear it this year. I can't tell you how much I don't want to rip out the bind off and take some of this out, because tubular bind off, once it's there, it's there. But I was really happy to get this off my needles. I honestly thought I was going to frog it for a while because the process was just too much for me to bear. But it's done, and I finished. And then I did another happier Lord of the Rings project, which was this little pair of socks. And this yarn was also from Long Dog Yarn from the Lord of the Rings collection. I believe this one is called the Fellowship of the Ring, or maybe it's called the Lord of the Rings. No, I think it's the Fellowship because the colorway was inspired by one of the book covers of the Fellowship of the Ring. And I just wanted a pair of vanilla socks after all this, and so that's what I knit. Just one color all the way through. And this is another favorite for me. I just think this colorway is so beautiful. The kind of little rust speckles and blues and greens, and I just really love them. So next, I knit this incredible shawl. I think it's incredible. It's an incredible pattern. I think this is my first shawl, and it's called Weathertop by Susan. What is your name? Susan Crawford. It's Weathertop by Susan Crawford, and it is this amazing slip stitch pattern with stripes and fringe, and I loved knitting this so much. I used a bunch of yarn that I had in my stash and made the tassels were backbreaking work, truly. I got this pattern in a book of Susan Crawford's filled with patterns inspired by female authors, and it's a wonderful book, and as soon as I saw this in there, I fell in love with it. I love the colors in the sample that she knit, and so I tried to be a little bit inspired by that. Mine turned out a little more muted. I was gonna say dull, but that sounded like a negative connotation, and so it's much more muted than I thought it would be. I think I thought this beige would be a little more yellowy and less beige, but I think it has a really pretty vintage look to it, and it went by pretty quickly, and I don't know, I had such a good time knitting this. My first shawl. I'm not really a shawl knitter, but I just think this is so beautiful, and I leave it on my computer chair. I like hang it on the back of it so I can look at it all the time. I haven't worn it much. I don't really know how to do that, how to work it into my wardrobe, but I did wear it for a day at Flock just to let it breathe a little, and I love it. I think it's so pretty. I can't believe I made this. Wow. And yeah, well, these are the yarns for my stripe hype sweater that I knit last year, and the rest are just random 50-gram sock skeins that I had in my yarn. Like, I think this one's from Hobby. I think these two are drops. So it's just kind of a bunch of random stuff, but I really like how it turned out, and it was just a ball to knit. So that's that. I knit another pair of vanilla socks, going strong on my vanilla socks this year. I think I've knit 4 pairs so far, and this is in the color Stay Golden Pony Boy from Bigfoot Yarn Co., which was actually in my destash bag because I didn't think I was going to be able to use it soon, and then I think I cast these on right around Easter because I wanted something light and springy, and I didn't have anything in my stash, and I was like, maybe there's something in my get rid of bag, and I'm so happy that I held on to this one because it's just so pretty. Some pastels, some berry shades, some chartreuse. Hello. So this was my 3rd pair of very simple vanilla socks this year. And then I knit my 2nd cumulus blouse. So this, another pattern by PetiteKnit, used a colorway that I got at Flock Fibre Festival last year from Ballyhora Fibres. It's a Suri in the color Driftwood, and then I held it together with a strand of Rowan Kid Silk Haze, which is a mohair that I'm 50% okay with. It tends to be kind of scratchy compared to other stuff. I mean, especially when you're working with Suri, but there's others that I prefer more. But I think I used the color Seashell or something like that, but I'll have that in the description. So this is my 2nd cumulus blouse. This is a size, it's the first size, my standard size for PetiteKnit, and I love this thing. I wear it all the time. It's just such a good basic, it's like anything that's kind of this color, I identify with like a California cool, casual, beachy vibe. So it's something that I wear a lot. My white t-shirt underneath, light colored jeans, sneakers, and I love it. I used, I just need 2 skeins of hand-dyed Suri for my size of cumulus, which is incredible. So that's another one that I knit this year. After that, I knit myself a Semper slipover in another tweed yarn. So this is a yarn from Willow on the Water. It is her BFL tweed fingering, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's BFL. And I held it together with a strand of knitting for olive mohair in the color Dusty Rose. And yeah, this is a Semper slipover. I can't remember which size I made, but it would be in my Ravelry project. And I was inspired by PetiteKnit has a children's slipover pattern where I think her daughter is wearing the sample, and she has a white t-shirt, a purple vest, and a pair of glasses on with her blonde hair. And I was so inspired by that outfit. I was like, I need a purple vest too. So that's what I knit. I wear it with my white t-shirt and my brown glasses, and it's just a vibe. So I'm a big fan of the slipover. It's like a sweater without sleeves, so it takes half the time. And I just think this yarn combination is so pretty. It's kind of a mauve, it's kind of a purple, and the tweed just makes it a little extra special. So that's another one that I knit this year. I haven't, I'll be completely honest, I haven't worn it a lot. I think that maybe, maybe it's a little more oversized than I thought. Maybe it's a little longer than I thought I wanted to make it. But I also envisioned wearing it over dresses, and it's definitely too long for that. It kind of bunches up awkwardly on the waist, but I'm hoping to, I do wear it when I'm ready to go for that outfit, the white tee and the glasses. That's when I wear it. But I haven't found other ways to wear it, so it hasn't been as versatile as maybe I imagined it would be. And then I knit this cute little weekend hat, which I'm gonna rip out and reknit because I love the yarn so much. But I made it too large. I think I made the largest size. I didn't adjust the needle at all, so it's just too stretchy and too big. I mean, look how much this stretches out just when I hold it. Like, I'm not even pulling on it, and it's pretty wide. So this is a really beautiful yarn. It's Fibres Fates Vivacious Decay, and it's in the colorway, I can't recall the name of the colorway, but it'll be down below. And I got it at Madison Wool in Connecticut on a recent trip there, I think in June. And I think this is going to be so pretty once I figure out my sizing. But I loved using this yarn so much. It's so squishy and so plush. I definitely like using superwash for accessories, hats, scarves, things like that. Things that it doesn't matter as much if it stretches out over time, but this stretched a little too much because I made too big of a size. But this is the weekend hat by PetiteKnit, if I didn't say that. It's got the kind of little X decreases on the top. And yeah, so this is gonna get ripped out, reknit. I might do the classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho, a little different set of decreases, but I really love this color, and I'm excited to have a winter hat in this colorway. It's so pretty. All right, next is my marble sweater. This thing is a behemoth. This was an unintentional project because it uses 3 different sweater quantities that I got from the Lord of the Rings collection from Long Dog Yarn. It uses a strand of boucle, which is the main green color in Legolas. It uses 2 strands of fingering, which is the deep breath before the plunge. It's a white speckled fingering weight. And then a strand of Suri, which is the light of Arundel, and then 1 strand of Mohair, which is the deep breath before the plunge. So I got all of those to make individual sweaters, and when the time came, I was going to make Something Cozy, which is a pattern by Shayna Billow with the Legolas and the deep breath before the plunge mohair. I was going to make a Monday sweater with the deep breath before the plunge fingering and light of Arundel Suri. And I just was not feeling each of these things. I didn't, something in me. And so I decided to put them all together into a giant hug of a Lord of the Rings sweater. and I love it so much. I think there was only one other Ravelry project that used a boucle in the marble sweater, and it made a really different look, but I love it. This is going to be so cozy in the winter time. I can just see it with a you know, pair of jeans and a cute boot, and or just around the house, snowy morning, I don't know. But I really liked knitting this. I love this large raglan kind of feature right here, and it took me, you know, a week or two. I don't know. The stitch gauge is enormous, and if I didn't mention, PetiteKnit pattern, if you're not familiar with the marble sweater, and I just love it. The ribbing is so long on the ends, and I could not be bothered to do a tubular cast off for this, so it's just regular, and I think that's perfectly fine. But yeah, this just, I needed to get 11 skeins of yarn out of my stash, and I did that. I actually think I have one Suri left over untouched, but I needed to get them out of my life and into a garment that I could wear. So I really love this. I'm looking forward to wearing it this cozy season, and I just think the color turned out so pretty with everything marled together. So that is my giant Lord of the Rings sweater. I have another pair of vanilla socks that I love. This is Sere yarn in the color coffee, and I just love how they striped up. They're looking a little more red than they do in real life. I think this is probably a little more accurate, but I want you to be able to see the little micro stripes in here. I just love these. Another single color, super basic pair of socks, but I'm steadily increasing my sock wardrobe, which I really like. The next project I'm really excited about because it's unlike anything I've ever made, and it is the Tazo tote from PetiteKnit. It's so pretty. I'm so proud that I made this. I did it all. I did the knitting, I sewed in a lining, I have the twill through here, I've got the leather strap going on, and it's a bag that I've been carrying every day. When this pattern launched, immediately I was like, I need to make this. And so I bought this yarn, which is Noro Madara, because it looked so much like the sample that PetiteKnit made using a gray yarn and then the Rico Creative Make It Tweed yarn, all in one. So it was ready to go. And so I bought it, and my grandpa is actually a leather worker, so he handmade this strap for me, and I really love that he did this curved inside, and then he put stitching around the outside so that the leather wouldn't stretch out over time. And then he had these cute little vintage brass, you know, what are they called? Brads, maybe? And so it was, you know, a little group effort, which was really fun. I found this lining at the quilting store near my house, and it's little knit stitches, if you can see. So I just thought it was the perfect lining, and yeah, I sewed this, you know, a cylinder and tucked it in there and then sewed it all together. I'm not going to show you my stitches because they're not the best, but yeah, and so there's twill running through the double knitted tube here so that the knitting doesn't stretch out when you fill it up with stuff. But oh my gosh, I'm so proud that I made this. It took me 6 days from start to finish, including my granddad doing the strap, and I was so intimidated by this project because it took sewing, because it had leather elements and twill and whatever. I'd never knit a bag before, and after tackling it, I'm like, that was so easy. The knitting was so simple. Really well explained in the pattern, and I'm so happy to have this. It goes with everything, and I think that's, you know, because of the rainbow coloring, but I highly recommend making your Tazo bag. It was a really, really fun project, and I carry it all the time, and I'm so happy to have it. So I love this thing. It's definitely a new, it's a recent cast off, so it's a new favorite, and I'm just a huge fan. Believe it or not, I actually made back-to-back cumulus blouses this year. As soon as I cast off that one, I started another one, and this is another Lord of the Rings project, so I'm so excited to be going through my Lord of the Rings yarn this year. finally, and this is in the color Lothlorien, which is a kind of blue and purple and gray speckly hand-painted watercolor dream. I held it together with a strand of Tosh Silk Cloud in the color, oh, I don't know what the color is. Maybe it's charcoal or graphite, but it's the perfect blue, and this project excites me so much. It was the perfect blue to go with kind of the main color of the strand of Suri that I had. And then the Silk Cloud has such a high content of silk that the silk really kind of shines through the Suri. And if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, follow me here, it looks just like the lights in the trees in Lothlorien. Like, this sweater is kind of spectacular. And I haven't worn it yet because, dang it, I think I made it a little too short. I haven't actually put it on with jeans yet though, so maybe it's fine. But wow, Suri and Silk Cloud, the combo, unreal soft. I've never touched anything this soft. It's so light and floaty. I don't know if you can see, but you can you kind of see me through here? I don't know. A little, my shadow maybe. But it's just so light and floaty, and I just think it's so pretty. I hope you can tell the color. It's a pretty muted kind of tealy, steely blue, and it's just wonderful. This is the project I bought. I bought this yarn with the intention of making a cumulus, and I just really love this color. My very first cumulus I made, I did a knit along with Hannah from Pages and Pearls, and she did kind of a soft blue color, and I've always been a little envious of it, so this is kind of my interpretation of hers in a, a slightly more variegated colorway. So this is my third cumulus blouse that I own. It's such a great pattern. It keeps me warm when I need it to, but it's not over the top like insulating. It's just such a nice layer, and I love wearing them so much. I think next I want to try to do the O-neck one because, believe it or not, I'm not a V-neck person. I never wear V-necks, and that probably is why I wear a t-shirt under all of my cumulus blouses, but I think the O-neck would definitely find a place in my wardrobe. So finally, this is my last finished object. It's my most recent one, and it's an Audrey top, which is another PetiteKnit pattern, and I knit this one in Olivia and Oliver Fibres cotton merino fingering in the color Willow, and it feels great. It's wonderful. The Audrey top is a pattern that I love. I will take to my grave. I will make one maybe every year. It fits me so well, and it feels great on, and especially in this cotton merino fabric, it's wonderful. So I make a very simple but logical mod whenever I make Audrey tops. PetiteKnit, well, the pattern has you kind of, so you finish one strap on the front and you finish the other strap on the back. She has you cut the yarn on the back one so that you start the second strap from the front so you can attach it in the back. And the fewer ends I have to weave in, the better. So I knit this one all the way, and then I Kitchener it together, and then I leave the yarn on the back one and I knit it to the front, and then I Kitchener it together. Looks exactly the same. You can't tell that I've Kitchenered it really, and it just makes so much more sense to me. So I highly recommend doing that if you make this, because it will make your life simpler. But yeah, I ended up wearing this tank top to Flock on the first day of the festival, and it's just a great basic. It takes 5 minutes to knit up, I swear. This is like 13 inches maybe, and then the decreases take a couple of hours each. Truly, like this front panel, a couple hours. So this is a tank top that I love and will continue to knit, and I just love it for summertime. It's really, I'm a big fan of positive ease everything, and I've noticed that my camisoles or ribbed negative ease things that I've knit, I never wear. I don't reach for them, but I reach for my Audrey tank tops all the time. So that is everything that I've been up to so far this year. And then I have a couple of whips to share. that I'm excited about. I'll give an honorary mention to my Never sweater, which is a pattern by KopyKali here on YouTube. It's still in progress. I am aiming to have it done this fall for the cozy times. And I'm a little, well, should I just get it? I am working on, I'm like kind of far into the body. I've definitely put some hours in on it. So it, you know, maybe needs another 3 inches and then the ribbing and then both sleeves, but it's gonna be great. And so this has been hibernating for several months, but I'm gonna pick it back up. Honestly, maybe this month. It'll be a good busy season project because it's all stockinette. And then other projects that I'm working on are, I just cast on this hipster hat right before flock because this colorway is from Woolberry Fibre Co. It's called Kindred Spirit from the Anne of Green Gables collection, and I got it at flock last year, so I thought it would be fun to knit up at the festival this year. This is the Merino DK, and sneak peek, I've got a little progress keeper on here that I got from Sophia at Making Treasures this year. It's so pretty. It's my favorite progress keeper I've ever gotten, and I feel like I'm going to use it on every single project. And Megan and I were sniffing them, that sounds really weird, at the festival because you can smell like the burnt, like the laser cut in the wood, and just smells like a fireplace, and it's so good. Anyway, off topic. But I've just hit the decreases. I'm supposed to do 9.5 inches of knitting for my size, and so I've just hit the decreases, so I'll be doing that very soon. But I just think this is such a nice fall color. I've been like, what am I talking about? I was about to say like poking into fall season, but both of my projects are super fall knitting. So this is like just the perfect fall color, and I think I'm making the size medium, maybe between medium and large, because I like to have a little room on top of the crown of my hats. And I also just did a regular, well, I did a old Norwegian German twisted cast on to keep things stretchy, so nothing fancy, but it's just really pretty, and I've been enjoying knitting on it a lot. Clearly I've gotten a lot done since casting it on at flock, but that is a project that I'm working on right now. It's my mindless project from when I'm watching a show or something. And then my pièce de résistance right now is my second colorwork garment, which is the Kerr sweater by Rebecca Clow. And I'm 9 rounds into the colorwork, which is rolling up so you can't even appreciate it. Here it is. Yay. You can kind of start to see the geometric pattern going on here. I am so excited to have this sweater. So it's extra special because the yarn that I'm using, the main color is BC Garn Semilla Pura, which is, I think it's the DK, right? But I got this from my friend Marlene from Marlene Knits. She gave it to me. And so I'm combining that with this green handspun yarn from my friend Megan, who gifted this to me for my birthday last year. And so it's kind of my Yarny Pals sweater. And I just think these yarns are so perfect because the handspun, like you can see, you know, it's like 2 colors twisted together. And even the BC Garn, you can kind of see it's got like a beige and then a lighter beige twisted together. So they're kind of similarly constructed yarns, and the colors were just made for each other. They're turning out so nicely. The handspun from Megan, I want to say, is Living Dreams yarn. It's a BFL in the color bronze green. So that was the fiber that she used, that she then spun up for me. I still can't get over. Thank you, Megan. And so yeah, I have started the chart. You can actually see what it looks like, which is awesome. And then I do have a couple of mods planned for this sweater. I'm going to be doing a mock neck as opposed to a folded collar. And I'm going to be doing something like a 3x1 rib or a 7x1 rib, something a little different with a rolled stockinette edge. I'm going for a very 90s Coldwater Creek kind of sweater vibe, and I think that's going to give it to me. So I'm really excited to see how the neck works out in my next video. Well, hopefully if this is done, I'll be able to share, what did I do there? How that goes, but I feel like my pickup looks weird. That's okay, it's in the back. Anyway, so I'm actually making the 4th size of the Kerr sweater. I have read a lot about Rebecca Clow's patterns being more form-fitting than others, and I think in the pattern also it's maybe it's like 2 inches of positive ease or something like that. I like more 6 to 8 at least, so I'm knitting a larger size than I would normally, but I think it's going to be the right fit for me. And again, my color work has been really loose, but looking at it in the camera now, I think it's going to be okay. Looser is better than tighter. So I'm really pleased with my progress on this sweater, and it's a DK weight pattern, so I think it'll be going at a good rate here, but I'm really enjoying working on it. This is one, the color work chart is, so some of the rounds have been memorizable. Is that a word? Some of the other rounds have not been memorizable. So I kind of have to focus on it depending on what I'm doing, but I've been binging Gilmore Girls lately, and I can't really, I mess up a little if I knit this while I'm watching my show, so I have to focus on that one a little more. But that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I feel really good about the amount of whips that I have. I'm really eager to cast some new things on because I do want to show you a couple things I got at Flock. Starting with the stitch marker, and then Sophia from Making Treasures also had some cute little tags to put in the back of your sweaters. So I got a couple that say, there we go, handmade, and then a couple that say this is the back, because that's always the question that I have in my sweaters. I don't want to bother taking the time to look for my short rows or figure out which collar is up or down. I just want to see the back. So I'm going to sew those into a couple sweaters that I have, the ones that are challenging to tell what's the front and the back. So I'm excited to have those, and they're very cute. I will also give an honorable mention. Brandy from Long Dog Yarn was at Flock. I had no idea she was going, and I'm like a nerdy fangirl of hers. And so when I saw her and recognized her, after she was done talking to whoever she was talking to, I went up to her, told her I was such a ginormous fan, and that Chelsea, was the one who was yelling at her through the whole entire Lord of the Rings collection about how good the colors were and how moved I was by the whole thing. And she gave me these really cute Long Dog Yarn stitch markers I will cherish forever, little acrylic ones. I was so touched that she handed those out to me, so thank you, Brandy. It was an honor to meet you. And so something that I was looking for at Flock was a mohair to pair with a yarn that I had in stash, which is Sorella Yarn's Theater colorway from the Autumn in New York collection. And I have the classic sock base, and I found this Les Garcons yarn in the color Jill's Dusty Rose that I thought was such a nice combination. So I got a sweater quantity of this to make, this is going to be a Jenny sweater actually, which I'm very excited to knit. Hopefully this winter sometime, maybe beginning of 2025. I'm not really sure where it's going to fit into the schedule, but I just think it's a really pretty color, and I think it's going to make a really interesting Jenny. It's like a brown pink. Hopefully it's coming up okay on the camera, but I was very excited to find this mohair that looked really good with this very unique color. So that was one thing I got at Flock. Another thing that I feel so honored to have got is this really special yarn from Little Fibre Co., who is Lauren, and she is an absolute treasure. This is a yarn that she had milled with her recycled yarn scraps, her ties from her hand dyeing, and this base is amazing. It is 45% non-superwash merino, 45% non-superwash BFL, 10% recycled yarn scraps, and it's a woolen spun 3-ply DK. Doesn't get any better than that. And it's got just the lightest, like, pastel kind of truly nuance to it. It's so beautiful. And it's just, I love these colorways that look like a color from far away, but up close you can see all the depth and different shades that go into it. And I am planning to make the Seaway pullover by Ozetta in this, which is 100% inspired by Tangerine Knits. And I just thought when I came up with that sweater and saw this yarn, it was, you know, singing from the heavens, like meant to be. So I'm really excited to get started on that. Emily, if you're watching this, let's get a date on the calendar. I know Emily from Gently Chaotic Knits wants to make the Seaway pullover also, so I'm very eager, and so whenever you're ready, Emily, let me know. But I was so excited to get this. Flock was so amazing. So there was a huge line to get in right at 10 o'clock on Saturday, which was the first shopping day. And I knew this had to be my first stop because it was really limited quantities. So Lauren's booth was really close to the entrance, which was lucky for me. I went straight there, and there were only 9 skeins left. I think I was in the door at 10:04, and so I grabbed 5 of them and made it out. I think Lauren said she only brought 28 skeins with her. This is exactly what I want to be working with these days. It's rustic, it's squishy, it's lofty, it's got everything going on for it, including some BFL, which is a fiber that I love. So I'm really excited about that and so happy that I got it just in the nick of time. So another thing that I got, Superglo Fibres was there last year, and I felt so jealous of everyone getting all these bright neon colors, and so it was on my wish list for this year, and I ended up getting these 2 really bright skeins to make another marled weekend hat. I have a marled weekend hat in a green and pink colorway that I love, and I wear it all the time. So I thought doing something really bright and neon would be good for winter. Like, honestly, morning walks, cars will be able to see me coming down the street. And so I got these colorways. This is Hula Hula, and this is Wheel of Fortune. And I just thought like a pink, peachy marl would be a fun, I don't know, hat. So my friend Megan was telling me I'll probably have enough left over after the hat to make matching mittens or something, which I think would be really a fun winter set to have. So that's another thing I picked up that was really fun. And then on my last day, I was so happy to meet the Scranton stitcher, Katie Sue, whose logo is just 70s sublime. I've always loved it. And she had this amazing colorway that I couldn't take my eyes off called I Got You Babe. And it is sock yarn, 75-25 blend. And I have had my eye recently on a Summerly Knits pattern called the Maine Coast Socks, I think. They're a really cute basic cabled sock that the sample is knit up in a really bright lobster red. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, this is probably meant to be me making those socks in this yarn. So I picked this up, but truly the best part of the weekend was getting to chat with everybody. Every year Flock is like your Instagram feed every year, 2 years in a row. It's like your Instagram feed come to life, and everyone is so wonderful to talk to. And even, I mean, I feel like I didn't buy much this year. I know I got 2 sweater quantities and a few single skeins, but it's really about the community for me, getting to meet up with everyone and catch up, have the DM conversations that you've had over time in real life, laugh about things in person. So great. The other things I need to talk to you about. A couple of life updates. This is actually the last time you're going to see me recording from this space. I'm going to be relocating soon, which I cannot wait to share all the details about that. So I'll probably say something on Instagram before I do my next video. So If you want to follow me there, I'm Truelane on Instagram. But that's also the reason for my destash. I'm doing kind of like a moving sale. As much as I wish I could knit with all of the yarn that I have in my stash right now, it's not humanly possible, and also I'm trying to bring as few things as possible. Like, I'm trying to do a cost-effective move, obviously, and so the smaller the truck I can get, the better off I'll be. So I'm going to be destashing. I think I have like 2 vacuum sealed bags of yarn. It's going to be a lot. There's sweater quantities. Most of it's hand dyed. I'm probably going to do an Instagram destash, so I'll be doing that on Truelane Knits. I have an Instagram that I created just in case I wanted to separate my knitting from my regular Instagram. So I think that's where I'll be posting everything. I might also have some things on Ravelry, but I'm assuming it'll be on Truelane Knits Instagram. So if you would like to shop my destash, which please do, because I can't bring everything with me, and I would really like all my yarn to go to people that I know will appreciate it. So I'll be doing that. Another thing I'm selling is my Luca needle set. So I just wanted to throw this in here in case one of you are looking for a needle set. It's the Driftwood in the brown colorway, Umber, I think it is. I have a full set of Knit Picks needles, Birchwood, that are my favorite. I use them all the time. I don't use my Luca needles ever. So if this would benefit you in any way, please reach out to me, because I will happily send it to you. It has all the stuff in it, cords, needle stoppers. I don't use it, and so I want somebody who actually wants an interchangeable needle set to use it, and Luca is a great brand. They just don't quite suit me 100%. So let me know if you're interested in the needle set, and stay tuned on Truelane Knits for the destash. It's probably coming this weekend because I'm moving at the end of this month, so everything is going to be happening really quickly, but I'm taking it one day at a time, and I'm very excited. So I think that's going to be all for today. Thank you very much for watching and catching up with me. I hope you have all been doing really well this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!